The King's Avatar, Chapter 1726 Fortunate to meet you. Audio source, WuxaWorldAudiobook.com. Chapter 1726 Fortunate to meet you. Translator, Nomyami. Editor, Nomyami. Happy, an unbelievable team. Glory Season 10, an unbelievable championship. The pro players all rose to their feet and delivered their heartfelt applause. At this time, there was nothing but congratulations. Continuing discussion about technique at this time would interfere with the atmosphere. Still, Yishu's final 5 seconds of consecutive finishing blows was just too earth-shattering. Everyone was visibly moved. Yet the stadium did not report the statistics of that final moment. Even the stadium's large display screen didn't show many replays of this incredible, iconic moment. This was, after all, Samsara's home stadium. They had to look after their self-interests, which meant caring about the mood of the home team. In a short while, they would be conducting the award ceremony for Team Happy, which was annoying enough. There was no need to rub salt in the wound. This final moment would be remembered, but in this stadium right now, most people did not want to see it. The statistics were not shown in the live stadium, but the televised broadcast did not have such concerns. Those 5 seconds were on repeat, as though this scene could never be watched enough times. And the data of these 5 seconds were already calculated. What everyone was most anxious to know was, of course, Yishu's hand speed during those 5 seconds. How fast had his controls need to be, in order to display such changing, densely packed attacks? APM 764. This was the final conclusion displayed by the system. Although it wasn't shown in the live stadium, the pro players all received the report through various means. Is he even human? This group of people, already considered inhuman to most ordinary gamers, began frenzied complaints of, "This guy just isn't human," about Yishu. Compared to how shocked everyone else was, those from Heavenly Swords had been a bit more mentally prepared. Especially Sun Jeping, because he had fought alongside Happy and Yishu before. Having interacted with the unspecialized Lord Grimm more often, he had a better understanding of this character. Added to his thorough experience, after seeing Yishu's moves during those 5 seconds, he already had a rough estimate as to what Yishu's hand speed must have been. The final statistic confirmed his judgment. Even so, that didn't mean he wasn't shocked. More than that, though, he felt admiration. 764 APM. This was a first even in Yishu's professional career. Even if no class beside the unspecialized allowed room for performing this many inputs in a row, everyone knew that Yishu had truly surpassed the limit. This was an explosion that could not be replicated. An old player who was already at the end of his professional career, what kind of determination and willpower had he need to manifest this transcendence? Yishu. He was the unquestionable star of this moment. The stadium was already making preparations for the award ceremony. Everyone was staring at Yishu's competitor booth, waiting to see him emerge and walk onto the award stage. The uproar in the stadium was sealed off by the soundproof walls of the competitor booth. After he took off his headphones, the entire world was quiet. Victory. At last, victory. After many years, he finally tasted the championship once again. He felt relaxed, he felt joyful, and most importantly, he felt satisfied. Yes. Nothing satisfied Yishu more than victory, more than the championship. Right now, he sat upon his chair, and he savored this complete peace, savored this greatest satisfaction. He subconsciously reached for a cigarette, but after feeling his pocket, he remembered where he was. Things were no longer as they once were. How could he smoke in today's competitor booths? The automatic fire extinguishers would put it out immediately. It had been too long since he'd won the championship. He couldn't keep up with the times. Yishu laughed at himself. 7 years. After 7 years. The Glory Alliance of 7 years ago lagged far behind what it was today, and the rules were still being perfected step by step. Back then, as the saying went, one cigarette after a match become a living immortal. Especially that cigarette after winning a championship. That was truly the most perfect way of winding down. But now, oh well, head out first. Yishu stood up, and finally walked out of the competitor booth. Lights. Countless spotlights had been waiting for this moment. The moment that Yishu appeared outside of his competitor booth, they all focused upon him, shining upon his body. The stadium was filled with cheers, shouts, applause, for although this was their away game, Happy's fans carried enough passion and enthusiasm. When Yishu walked out of the booth, all of this reached a peak. The stadium shone its lights, Happy's fans cheered for him, Samsara's fans delivered their applause as well. Boss. Steamed Bun sprinted over. Happy's other players had already walked out of their competitor booths, and those who had been sitting in the player area were already on stage as well. Championship. A feeling that he hadn't experienced in a long time. But this scene was something that Yishu had never experienced before. He had unparalleled competition experience. He'd won the greatest number of championships in the entire alliance. But never before had he celebrated alongside his teammates directly after a match, never before had he directly accepted the award. In Excellent Era's time, he had stayed mysterious and lie low. He had always quietly arrived, quietly competed, and quietly left. 10 years, his 4th championship. Yet this was the first time Yishu stood directly under the eyes of millions of people and accepted all of the glory and blessings. Happy's members high-fived and hugged each other. Some were crying, some laughing, but at this moment, no matter how much someone might lose their composure, they would be forgiven. Nothing was too embarrassing. To the side, Samsara's players quietly finished ling up. Happy's joy was their pain. But they still stood there, neither leaving the stage nor interrupting Happy's celebration. They had lost this match, lost this entire season, lost the Samsara dynasty that they had almost established, but they did not lose their bearing. Congratulations. Quote, in the end, as the losers, they shook hands with Happy, gave them their well wishes, and then left. WuxRWorldAudio.com. They were the hosts of this place, but they were not the stars of this moment. After Samsara left, the preparations for the award ceremony were complete, with an award stage set up right in the center of the stadium floor. One by one, Happy's players walked onto the stage. The chairman of the alliance, Feng Xianjun, was led on stage, his face shining with joy. Incredible, truly incredible. Feng Xianjun gave all of the Happy players such praise as he presented a championship ring, the symbol of the championship, to each person. What weak vocab. Yishu mercilessly pointed this out when it was his turn. Feng Xianjun gave Yishu a strong pat on the back. He may not have used any fancy vocabulary, but the word came from his genuine feelings. Feng Xianjun felt that this word was the best summary of Team Happy and each of its players. You are the most incredible, he said to Yishu, and he gave him the championship ring that belonged to him, his 4th one. 10 players, 10 championship rings. And then, the championship trophy was finally delivered on stage as well. It represented the whole, belonging to the whole team, and just now, under the engraving of Season 10, the team name, Happy, had been added. Off stage, the tears that Chen Guo had only just managed to stop began to flow again. She wasn't a player, so of course she wouldn't stand upon the award stage. But she didn't feel any regret because of this. She already felt that she was a winner in life, from head to toe. Right now, she wasn't thinking about blueprints for the future of their now championship team. All of her thoughts were of the past that belonged to Happy. That snowy night, the ordinary guy who walked into Happy Internet Cafe. That guy who had used her chasing haze to defeat, in 40 seconds, the opponent who had beaten her for 52 rounds straight, and then lamented that he had been slow because his hands were cold. That guy who had seemed a bit serious as he told her, "Actually, I'm Yi Chu." That guy. From a new server in the Glory game, using a completely new character, he restarted his Glory journey. Snatching dungeon records, dealing with all of the major guilds trying to kill them, building Guild Happy, pioneering, spying, stealing wild bosses, competing in events, and then applying for the Challenger League. Overcoming all of the difficulties along the way. Defeating Excellent Era in the finals to enter the Alliance. Arriving at the Pro Battles, fighting from the regular season to the playoffs, never meeting defeat in an individual battle, and finally, in 6.5 seconds, killing Samsara's most powerful trio, leading Happy to stand upon the summit of glory. These 2+ years, growing from nothing, drop by drop. Although Chen Guo hadn't personally experienced much of it, it was still vivid before her eyes. She knew better than anyone the hard work that Yi Shu had put in. She understood better than anyone the sacrifices Yi Shu had made. And now, everything that he had done had paid off. Championship. This was the best reward, one that he fully deserved. As for Chen Guo, she felt that she was very fortunate. Fortunate that, on that snowy night, Yi Shu had walked into her internet cafe. Fortunate that, on that snowy night, she had taken in Yi Shu. Happy's everything had begun on that day. On that day, I was fortunate to meet you, the most incredible you. End chapter.
The King's Avatar, Chapter 1727 The Strongest Opponent, The Greatest Friend. Audio source, WuXiaWorldAudiobook.com. Chapter 1727, The Strongest Opponent, The Greatest Friend. Translator, Gnome Yummy. Editor, Gnome Yummy. The Season 10 championship goes to Team Happy. Amidst thunderous applause, the championship trophy, representing the whole, belonging to their team, engraved with Season 10, Team Happy, was awarded to Team Happy by Alliance Chairman Feng Shenjun. The person to represent Happy and take it from the chairman's hands was naturally their captain, Yi Shu. This was his 4th championship trophy, yet this was the first time he had ever personally received the trophy directly from the Alliance. Everyone's gazes were fixed upon this scene, bearing witness to this 4th, and also first, champion's crowning. The trophy, the gleaming golden trophy, symbolizing the greatest glory, was finally given to Happy. Yi Shu accepted it with both hands. But immediately afterwards, the trophy slipped between his fingers. "Ah!" As the crowd cried out in surprise, to Yi Shu's left and right, Su Mucheng and Feng Rui swiftly reached out to support the trophy. Then, hand after hand reached over, holding the trophy steady. Happy was no longer standing in a line on the stage, but gathered around Yi Shu in a circle. "Hey, even if you already have plenty of these, don't throw this one away. I haven't had one yet," Feng Rui informed him in a serious tone. "Exactly," the others all agreed. Yi Shu smiled. Obviously, he wasn't trying to throw the trophy away. But his hands were exhausted, and he just didn't have the strength to hold up the trophy. Luckily, he had so many reliable teammates standing beside him. They might have noticed this early on, which was why they all reached out their hands. Together, they helped Yi Shu raise the trophy above their heads. "We're the champions." In this moment, even though they weren't the home team of this stadium, they received plenty of applause. After the official award ceremony was over, Chen Guo also walked onto the stage, gathering with the rest of Happy, either crying or laughing. It wasn't important. This moment belonged to Happy, but since it wasn't their home stadium, they had to limit their celebrations. After the award ceremony, Happy soon retreated backstage. Even if it was the deciding match of the grand finals, the post-match press conference still had to go on. Samsara soon arrived for their interview. There were simply too many spectacular moments to this battle. But from Joe Zekai's opening 1v3 in the group arena to Tangru's counter 1v3 to the amazing performance from each and every player in the team competition, none of it could outshine the radiance of Yishu's 6.5-second triple kill. That was an extremely difficult finishing blow, the deciding finishing blow. Naturally, when discussing their thoughts on the match, Samsara's players couldn't avoid being asked about their thoughts on Yishu's performance. He's an extraordinary player. Quote, this was what Samsara's captain Joe Zekai said. Words were not his strong point, but he crowned Yishu with an adjective like extraordinary, to which the other members of Samsara all expressed their agreement. They had lost, but they accepted it. Yishu, and Team Happy as a whole, had achieved too many miraculous things. Their efforts and their accomplishments were all worthy of respect. We look forward to the next time we face them. Quote, this hope of Samsara's could be considered the highest level of acknowledgement to an opponent. After Samsara, the stars of the night took the floor. The reporters had all prepared their questions. But as it turned out, Happy's lineup for this press conference did not include Yishu. Everyone was stunned, and after congratulating Happy on their win, everyone's first question became, why isn't Yishu here to attend the press conference? He's exhausted. He needs rest. Quote, this was Suma Chung's reply to the reporter's question. It didn't matter if everyone believed it or not, because either way, they couldn't do anything about it. But a Team Happy press conference without Yishu was one missing its protagonist, missing its skeleton. It had suddenly become uninteresting. In the later press releases regarding Happy's championships, there was a distinct lack of interviews with Yishu. There wasn't even a single sentence from the man. Even Chong Xian, the esports home reporter that had always been close with Happy, had his request for an interview rejected by Team Happy. The star of the championship, refusing all interviews? The new reporters to the Glory Circle all felt that this was unbelievable. However, the veteran reporters who had 10 years of experience interviewing the Glory Circle all felt a sense of nostalgia. No reports on the star of the championship. Wasn't this the very scene of that 3-year excellent era dynasty? Never mind an interview, the Yishu of that era didn't even reveal his face once. Was this guy returning to the past? For a while, everyone was coming up with theories, and none of them gave up on getting that interview from Yishu. However, no one had expected that the image of him raising the Glory Season 10 championship trophy with his Happy teammates would be the final impression that Yishu left upon Glory. On the 4th day after the finals had ended, Team Happy held a press conference. Originally, everyone had thought that Yishu was finally here to take interviews, but to everyone's surprise, only Team Happy's boss Chen Guo and Suma Chung attended. And then, during the press conference, they announced Yishu's retirement. Retirement? Yishu was retiring? True, it had already happened once, and Yishu's age was clear to see. But the undefeated streak he had left in the individual match record, and the 6.5-second triple kill that overwhelmed Samsara's 3 top players, had caused everyone to forget these facts. Everyone believed, with Yishu's current state, Yishu's current skill level, he could fight in for another 10 years, no problem. But retirement? Such a sudden and resolute decision, and he hadn't even personally come out to notify everyone. He was leaving just like that? Why? Everyone wanted to know the reason, but Happy's boss Chen Guo didn't seem willing to discuss it. Her smile seemed rather forced as well. Clearly, she was the most reluctant to see Yishu leave. WuxiaWorldAudio.com. She would love nothing more than for Yishu to stay. However, it's time to go home. Quote, That was the reason Yishu had given them when he made the decision. He didn't hide his reluctance to leave Glory, or set down his passion for the championship. He just let everyone know that he had another duty. You'll always be welcome if you decide to return. Chen Guo didn't want Yishu to leave, but she couldn't stop him from leaving. She just hoped, anticipated, that perhaps Yishu might get approval from his family, that perhaps he might not have to ever make such sacrifices again, but be able to uphold both at the same time. She hoped so. Chen Guo silently looked forward to such a moment. She never stopped hoping. "He's going home," was what she told the reporters. This was the reason for Yishu's retirement, as well as his direction after his departure. This answer had the reporters confused, but Chen Guo didn't explain further. As for Team Happy, Sima Cheng will take up the position of captain. Chen Guo accepted Yishu's decision. She didn't fall because of his choice, and she wouldn't let Happy fall, either. As for Sima Cheng, after Yishu made his decision, she didn't act in a way that made people worry. She knew this was Yishu's personal decision, immature decision. She wouldn't let herself become a reason for Yishu to worry. She would only continue to support Yishu to the best of her ability, and sweep away the worries that he couldn't let go of. Thus, she would no longer only play that small role. She was going to take on all that Yishu had done and become Team Happy's core in the days to come, just like Yishu, all the way until she retired. "Keep in touch, I'll wait for you to retire." Quote. This was the promise she and Yishu made when they parted. News of Yishu's retirement spread like wildfire, sending waves through the entire Glory scene. Like last time, he left without a single word, and then everyone found out about his retirement through the news. Disappointment, sadness, well wishes, confusion. All sorts of emotions and responses. 2.5 years ago, everyone had already experienced this once. However, this time, their emotions were much more complicated. Because in these 2.5 years, from the game servers to the Challenger League to the Pro League, this guy had made his existence very well known, sweeping through like a tornado, turning the world upside down. But in the end, once again silently and suddenly, he left just like that? Was he planning on hiding in a corner and then suddenly stabbing everyone when they weren't looking? Some people's joking theories immediately earned widespread acknowledgement. Yet after tossing around a discussion of Yishu's shamelessness, everyone fell into silence again. In the end, the only thing everyone offered up were well wishes. To their strongest opponent, to their greatest friend. End chapter.
The King's Avatar, Chapter 1728. After all, I'm a pro player. Audio source, Wuxia-World-Audiobook.com. Chapter 1728. After all, I'm a pro player. Translator, Nomyami. Editor, Nomyami. Retirement. Every summer, this was an unavoidable topic. Lin Jingyan had announced his retirement after Tyranny was eliminated from the playoffs. Yishu had quietly departed after winning the championships. Several older players in the alliance also chose to say their farewells. It was just that compared to Lin Jingyan and Yishu, they weren't as famous, so their farewells appeared more ordinary. Wei Chen was among these retired players. However, there wasn't anything sentimental about his departure. It was more like he had scooted over to the corner to count the 5 million in cash he had just picked up. He didn't say goodbye to Happy, either. He went to Happy's guild department to wreak havoc in the game. Old Wu, hurry up and bring a team to help. Hurry. Angry bellows could be heard every day from the guild area. Conflict in the game was eternal. Guild Happy had pulled quite a bit of aggro from all sides ever since Yishu had founded it. At that time, Yishu had led an alliance of medium and small guilds to fight against the large guilds, and the guild had been able to hold their own. But the current Happy was the newly crowned champion. This time, they were everyone's target, and the Guild's situation in the game immediately became more strenuous. When Wei Chen returned to the game, he was immediately swamped with work. Every day, he battled in high spirits. The Guild leader was still Wu Chen, but he was yelled at every day too. Still, no one in the Guild felt that it was inappropriate. With Wei Chen's status and position, who dared to question Boss Wei's authority? Guild leader Wu Chen was no exception. When the old left, the new would take their place. Many of the pro teams had their own training camps, and every year, they would take out fresh blood to serve the team. But Happy was too new, and hadn't established a training camp yet. Yi Zhu and Wei Chen had retired. Two important players had suddenly left, and the team could only look for transfers. The task was given to Su Mucheng and Fang Rui. The two were now Happy's captain and vice-captain, respectively, and had quite the authority in this area. Happy currently didn't have a dedicated operational manager. Chen Guo could feel that their simple and crude grassroots structure wasn't enough. For Team Happy, money wasn't a big issue anymore. After winning the championships, sponsors came in left and right to partner with the team. Even the City H, had put in plans to support Happy. The influence of Glory Esports was constantly expanding. City had become famous because they had been home to the three-time champions, Team Excellent Era. Unfortunately, Excellent Era ultimately collapsed, and was starting over from scratch. As for the team that toppled Excellent Era, Happy had brought the Glory Championship trophy back to City H after 7 long years. The City naturally gave their new champions attention. As for the new team Excellent Era, they had won the Challenger League. Next season, they would be fighting in the Alliance along with Happy. City H didn't care which team won more fame. All they cared about was the boost to the economy that the Glory Esports would bring to the city. Happy was the reigning champion, so the support given to them was obviously much larger. All sorts of talks need to be discussed with them. In addition, with so many sponsors knocking on their door for partnerships, Chen Guo was feeling completely overwhelmed with work. On one hand, she was working to expand the organization, establishing departments and recruiting new staff. On the other hand, for now, she would have to personally take care of everything, big or small. Tang Rou was helping her quite a bit during this time. Luo Dian and Wen Yi were absorbed into the R&D department, helping Guan Rongfei improve the team's equipment. Steamed Bun and Qiao Yivan were helping Wei Chen with in-game work. As for Mo Fan, he was single-mindedly devoting himself to practicing and improving. During this break, no one on Happy relaxed and went to take a vacation. They were doing what they had been doing ever since they had gathered together. Everyone was doing their best to contribute to the team in any way they could, pushing Happy forward. That summer, Yi Zhu left. But when Chen Guo saw how busy everyone was, she felt like it was almost as if Yi Zhu hadn't left. Traces of him could be seen everywhere. The spirit that he had left behind still remained. Chen Guo truly hoped that these vestiges would never disappear. Happy continued to move forward, even after Yi Zhu's departure. But, if only he had left a bit later in the summer, that would be even better. Chen Guo looked out the window. It had been 2 days since an enormous billboard had been erected. The gold Glory logo glittered in the sunlight. During these 2 days, the news had already spread far and wide. Everyone in the Glory community was talking fervently about it. The Glory World's Invitational. The International Esports Association partnered together with the Glory Game Company, inviting 16 teams from 16 countries for the first International Glory Tournament. The announcement had been made. Everyone was calling it the Glory World Cup, and winning it would undoubtedly be the greatest glory of all. The competition was scheduled to take place from July 17 to August 6. It would be hosted in Zurich, Switzerland. The 16 countries invited were China, South Korea, Japan, Switzerland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Netherlands, Germany, United Kingdom, Italy, France, Russia, Canada, America, and Australia. At present, all 16 countries had confirmed their participation in the tournament. Each country was currently inviting players to join the national team. Happy's Su Mucheng and Fang Rui had received invitations, and had hurried over to City B to practice together with the rest of the national team. The full roster of the national team had yet to be announced. Even Su Mucheng and Fang Rui, who had been picked, didn't know who else could have been chosen. The forums exploded with fervent discussion and voting for who would be on the roster. Fang Rui didn't really care, though. This team would undoubtedly consist of the very top players of the alliance. Even if it hadn't been announced yet, the majority of the roster was already set in stone. For example, take the healer. Even though every team had outstanding healers, Zhang Xinji was indisputably number one. Coincidentally, when Su Mucheng and Fang Rui arrived at the elevator to the Turing Center conference room, they happened to bump into Zhang Xinji. "It looks like we won't be late," Su Mucheng joked to Fang Rui. Zhang Xinji obviously knew what she meant, and just smiled. Then, he congratulated Happy on their championship victory. "You're alone." Fang Rui felt doubtful. He and Su Mucheng were on the same team and had received the invitations at the same time, so they obviously came together. But they only saw Zhang Xinji alone. Could it be that tyranny? Zhang Jiale went AEAD. Zhang Xinji said, "Oh, how lucky for him," avoiding anything related to the championships. Fang Rui nodded his head. The insult seemed to flow just right out of his mouth. It could be considered an embodiment of his professionalism. In just one sentence, he linked together two crucial phrases, "lucky" and "championships," two stabs at Zhang Jiale. "Just you and Zhang Jiale?" Su Mucheng saw the other meaning behind Zhang Xinji's words. Captain Han declined the invitation. Zhang Xinji said calmly. "Why?" Fang Rui asked. He said that his energy was limited, and he wanted to focus on tyranny, Zhang Xinji said. Trash talk came naturally to Fang Rui, but this time, he didn't utter a word. The inside of the elevator instantly fell silent. The phrase, "persevere for 10 years as if it were one day," was truly an appropriate description of Han Wenqing's dedication to tyranny. Ye Xiu had quietly left, but Han Wenqing was still working hard for tyranny, even giving up the opportunity to stand on a higher stage. This choice was worthy of admiration. "Incredible," Fang Rui said solemnly. Zhang Xinji nodded his head. The three didn't say anything else for the rest of the elevator ride. When they arrived at their destination, they walked out of the elevator into the conference room. Like I said, how could Zhang Xinji be late? The three arrived at the conference room just on time. As soon they walked through the door, they heard Huang Shaoshan slapping the table and shouting loudly. He quickly noticed Su Mucheng and Fang Rui. "Yo, the champions also came. Congratulations, you guys." Huang Shaoshan continued to chatter, but there were very few people who were actually paying attention to him. Su Mucheng and Fang Rui looked around the conference room. They had arrived with Zhang Xinji just on time. By now, everyone had gathered. Team Blue Rain's Yu Wenzu and Huang Shaoshan. Team Samsara's Zhou Zekai and Sun Xiang. Team Tiny Herb's Wang Jiexe. Team Thunderclap's Xiao Shichen. Team Voids Li Xuan, Team Misty Rains Chu Youngshu, Team Wind Howls Tang Hao, Team Tyrannies Zhang Xinji and Zhang Jiale, Team Happy Su Mucheng and Fang Rui. 13 people, the required number of people for a team in this tournament. The people here made up the national team. It's really quite surprising that Han Wenqing didn't come. Su Mucheng sat down. Chu Youngshu had switched seats to sit next to her. The two girls immediately started chatting. Su Mucheng nodded her head. Seeing the people here, Han Wenqing was indeed the biggest surprise. Apart from that, even though Jiang Botao, Zhu Bin, Yang Kong, Qian Sen, and Surun were all outstanding players, the number of spots on the team was limited. The spots might not have necessarily been picked based on pure skill alone. Who knew what other criteria was looked at? It wouldn't have been hard to argue for swapping him in with someone else. Han Wenqing declining the invitation was the only real surprise. Say, if Han Wenqing came, who would have he replaced? Chu Youngshu wanted to go deeper. In other words, who had benefited from the good fortune of Han Wenqing declining the invitation? Who had been given this lucky last chance? It's hard to say. Su Mucheng replied. Li Xuan coughed, getting Chu Youngshu's attention. Let's not guess, it'd start things off badly. What are you eavesdropping on our conversation for? I'd say it's got to be you, no? Chu Youngshu said, displeased. It's me. Sis, could you not gossip so much? Li Xuan valued the team's atmosphere. Chu Youngshu stopped talking, but her eyes continued to shift around. She was clearly still curious about this question. At this moment, Yu Wenzhou stood up. Everyone looked towards him, and he began to speak. Because Captain Han declined the invitation, and because Captain Wang declined the position of captain, the organizers wanted to appoint me as captain. Of course, I have to ask for everyone's opinion. Does anyone object? Yu Wenzhou smiled. For many, this might have been embarrassing to say, but he was quite natural about it. After saying what he needed to say, he calmly waited for everyone's response. No objections. Huang Shaoshan said loudly, supporting his team's captain. The others either didn't care or didn't object to it. They waved their hands. Sure. Great. Thank you everyone for your support. Yu Wenzhou said with a smile, and sat back down. Then, will you be leading the meeting? What are we going to talk about? Xiao Shichen asked. Everyone had arrived, but no one had officially taken charge of anything. Everyone was just chatting with each other. Of course, because everyone was friendly with each other, it wasn't like there was anything wrong with that. No, even though I'm the team captain, I don't actually have that many responsibilities. The organizers said that they had appointed a team leader. WuxaWorldAudio.com. He'll be given total authority over the team. Yu Wenzhou said. A leader? Everyone looked at one another. None of them had heard of such a role. They're not planning on sending an amateur to wave his hands around, are they? Quote, this was an international tournament. Everyone here was part of the national team. They would be competing not only for the pride of their Glory Pro League, but for the pride of their country as well. It was quite likely that their government's General Administration of Sports would send someone who didn't understand Glory to coach them. If that really were the case, then the person having total authority would be quite terrifying. I heard he's an expert. Yu Wenzhou said. An expert? Who in our competitive scene is more of an expert than us? Who could possibly have the qualifications to have total authority over us in a Glory competition? The person who spoke was Tang Hao. He stressed the words, total authority. These words didn't lack his usual arrogance, but today, everyone felt quite pleased hearing him speak. Many of them agreed. Yes, of the people sitting at this table, who could possibly have the qualifications to have total authority over them? Wait a minute. Suddenly, half the faces in the room changed. The other half were more calm. When they thought about this question again, they couldn't help but think of one person's name. No way. Someone already blurted out. 2/3 of the people there looked towards Soo-mu Chung. Soo-mu Chung just smiled. She didn't say anything. At this moment, the door to the conference room opened. Hello, everyone. Someone came in. The person looked like he didn't want to be here, and his footsteps looked heavy. I'm here, he continued to speak as he walked over to the control panel for the multimedia projection. He listlessly and half-heartedly pressed a few buttons, and a video appeared on the projection screen. Let's skip the greetings. Let's take a look at our opponents, he said. The projector was still starting up, and the video couldn't even be seen clearly yet, but he had already started talking. Apart from his voice and the sounds from the Glory VOD, the room was dead silent. The silence lasted for a full 5 minutes before finally. Fuck, who are you? What are you doing here? Zhang Jiale was the first to speak up. Didn't you say you retired? Zhang Xinji pushed up his glasses. Yeah, and you're back already? Make up your mind. Xiao Shichen said. Can't you be more reliable? Huang Shaoshan said. Even the always quiet Zhou Zekai felt the need to say something. Exactly. Shut up, all of you. Ye Shu said with a gloomy face. He didn't wait for anyone else to interrupt him. Did you think I wanted to come? I was forced, Ye Shu said. Forced? Who? Stand up. Huang Shaoshan looked like he was about to jump onto the table. The head of my family, Ye Shu said with a dark face. What? The answer surprised everyone. No one could make heads or tails of it. Everyone immediately fell silent. In the end, Wang Jiexi began analyzing it calmly. So you retired and went back home. Then, when you got back, your father shooed you away so that you could lead this team. Yes, Ye Shu said. The head of the General Administration of Sports directly called my father, telling him that I need to go and win honor for my country. The words, win honor for my country, struck my father's vital point. I hadn't even set up my bed yet, and I was shooed out of the house. Everyone was stunned. What sort of situation was this? Okay, enough nonsense. These are all the videos that I've gathered in these past few days of the other countries' players. You gods go and analyze them yourselves. Play well. Don't lose face. I didn't bring my account card, so I won't be substituting in for any of you. You can still play. Sun Qiang was quite sharp, hearing the implications of Ye Shu's words. According to tournament rules, each country's team is limited to 13 players, but we're allowed to bring an unofficial player to substitute in if the need arises. Yu Wenzhou had been appointed captain AEAD of time. He had clearly looked over the tournament rules. What do you mean by, if the need arises? Everyone asked. For example, if a player is incapable of playing because of an accident. The final decision is up to the tournament organizers. Yu Wenzhou said. Should we be hoping for an accident to happen? Everyone looked at each other. Who dared to question Ye Shu's skill? It'd be best if an accident didn't happen. Ye Shu said. Of course, it won't. Don't even think about it. Everyone shouted loudly as they went over to the operating desk to copy the VOD. Afterwards, the meeting was over, and everyone left. No one lingered around to talk to Ye Shu, not even Fang Rui. Soon, there was only Ye Shu and Soo-mu Chung left. Isn't this infuriating? Ye Shu said helplessly to Soo-mu Chung. Really? Soo-mu Chung chuckled. Ye Shu didn't say anything. Many years ago, he had given up everything, leaving his home for glory. Now, he had decided to let go of Glory to make up for his earlier childishness. But this time, his family shooed him away and told him to keep playing Glory. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry at this turn of events. However, he was certain that this time, his old man was sincere. Because winning honor for your country was 100% a reason that could convince him. Glory Esports had developed to this stage, to the point that even his old man would approve. The video was still playing on the projection screen. In front of him was the skill and technique of foreign experts that he had never encountered before. However, the sound effects of those attacks, the visual effects of those skills, they were still incomparably familiar. Just like that, Ye Xiu watched quietly. This was the thing in which he had immersed himself for over 10 years, the thing for which he had never stopped pursuing. Glory. The word flashed, practically jumping out from the screen. Are you going to continue? Sima Chung asked softly. Of course. Ye Xiu stood up, and smiled. After all, I'm a pro player. What do you think?